This is Don McAllister and welcome to another edition of Screencasts Online. Now, I've had a lot of requests from viewers for screencasts covering the basics of OS X Tiger. So this is the first in a series of screencasts designed specifically for Mac switchers. This first episode will cover some of the basics of the Mac OS X user interface, specifically the dock. Future episodes covering topics such as the Finder, system preferences and other topics will be published over on the Screencasts Online website and will be available via the iTunes feed. Now, while I'm on the subject of iTunes, I've actually launched another version of Screencast Online called Screencast Online iPod Edition. This is a video podcast available in iTunes which has copies of all the available screencasts specifically formatted for the new video iPod. If you just search for Screencasts Online in the iTunes Music Store to subscribe to the new version, you'll see both the desktop and the iPod editions. Now, both editions will be updated with new screencasts as they're published, and the Screencast Online iPod edition is available now in advance of the release of the new video iPod. So, back to the screencast. Let's start by comparing some Windows components with the equivalent components in OS X. So this is a standard Windows desktop. You'll see down in the left-hand corner we have the Start button, and used primarily to launch applications or to access Control Panel. We also have some icons in the Quick Start taskbar, and we also have the taskbar itself, which has at the moment a copy of Notepad which has been minimized, so we can just open that up and close it down again. And also on the desktop we have some icons for applications that we can launch from the desktop itself. So let's have a look now at the OS X desktop. So this is the OS X desktop, and it's pretty much a default setup at the moment. Main thing you'll notice is at the bottom we have the dock, but something you probably also notice as well is that there's no start button, but we'll have a look at that a bit later. So let's have a look at the dock first. Now, the dock has a dual function in that it's both an application launcher and also a taskbar. The icons in the dock actually represent installed applications in OS X, and applications can be launched by double-clicking, and when you actually launch an application, you'll see the actual icon will start to bounce. And you'll notice that the application I've just launched, the calendar, has actually now got a small black triangle underneath it. And this is an indicator to show that the application is actually running. So you'll see also that we have QuickTime running in the background. I've also got Dashboard running and the Finder's running as well. And some others on the Outliner Pro and Launchbar as well as running in the background. So that's an easy way to see what applications you actually already have running. Now, to show you some of the things you can do with the icons in the dock, each one has actually got a sub-menu. So what you can actually do is you can go to the menu, you can go to the icon, do a right-click or control-click, and you'll get a pop-up context-sensitive menu. Such things as you can remove the icon from the dock, but I'll show you another way to do that in a second. You can actually get the application to open at login, so that if there's certain applications that you want to launch when you actually log into the system and open automatically, you can do that from the dock itself. You can actually show the executable or the package in the Finder window. So if you want to find out where it's located on the disk, you can hide the icon or you can hide the application. This application is actually loaded at the moment, or you can actually quit the application. So let's just quit that application, and you'll notice that the little black triangle has disappeared. I mentioned before removing from the dock. Another way to remove things from the dock is quite simple. Is to just hold down, drag it, and then drop. And you'll see it disappears with a puff of smoke. Other things you can do with the dock icons, you can rearrange them if you want. Just highlight the icon, click with the left mouse button, and then just, you need to be a bit quicker, right, just click and drag it across, and you'll see the icons actually move apart to let it be repositioned. Other thing you can do, you can add new icons to the dock. You can go to the Finder, go to Applications folder. If there's a particular application I want to put into the dock, let's say I want to have Automator in the dock, I can just drag and drop it down to the dock and release, and there we go, there's Automator. What I should have mentioned before actually was when you do hold down with the left-hand mouse button on an icon in the dock, if you keep your finger held down, you actually get the same as a right click. So there's two ways of accessing the dock menu. You can either right click, or you can use left click and just hold it down. So to move the icon, you hold down and move it quickly. Okay. Right, there are other settings within the dock. You'll notice here that we've got magnification turned on, so that as you actually move the cursor across the icons, they become magnified. And the way you can alter that is by going to the separator and then doing a right click. You can actually switch it off. So we now have a static dock. Again, right click on the separator, and we'll switch it back on again. You can also turn hiding on or off. You'll see there I've switched it on now, so whenever I'm away from the dock, it's hidden. If I move down to the dock, it will reappear. Okay, let's switch that back on again. You can actually reposition the dock to left, bottom or right. And you can also use these different effects to minimize windows, and I'll show you that now. We've got it currently set to the genie effect. So if we actually minimize this window, you'll see there that it's actually gone down into the right hand side of the separator bar. I'll show you a neat little trick actually. If we bring that back up, if you actually hold shift down when you press the minimize button, it actually does it in slow motion for you. So that's the genie effect. And there's another one which is the scale effect. I think this is less processor intensive, the scale effect. So if you're on a slow machine, you might want to switch genie off and switch scale on. But again, we can do the same thing again. That just scales it down. Another thing you can do with the separator bar is to actually change the scale of the dock itself. So if I go to the separator bar and do a left click and then move the mouse up and down, you'll see it actually scales the size of the dock, so you can actually do that. Another thing is to, this time if we right click again on the separator bar and go to dock preferences, you can actually change the amount of magnification that you want to appear on the dock. So let's, if we set it at a minimum, see there's hardly any magnification at all. Go back again. To maximum. And there we have some nice large magnification settings. Probably a bit too large. Okay. Let's just launch a couple of applications to show you a few other things. So let's get Safari loaded. We've already got Finder loaded. Let's go to the Screencast Online website. Actually, I'll probably show you this as well, which is the actual these buttons in the top corner that switchers tend to get a little bit confused about, because as you'll appreciate, on Windows the buttons are normally on the right hand side, but within Mac OS X they're actually on the left hand side, and they have specific meanings, two of which are similar to Windows and one was completely different. The first one, this red X, is to close the window. Now bear in mind that it actually closes the window, it doesn't actually close the application. So you'll see here that Safari is actually still loaded in memory. It's got the black triangle behind it. So if we load that up again, but it actually does close the window. Then we have the yellow button, which actually minimizes, and that scales down using the genie effect, and we have it appearing down here on the right hand side of the separator bar. And what you'll notice as well is that the actual minimized icons are true representatives of what's actually contained within the screen. So that's quite a neat feature. And the third button, which is the green button, I call it the optimize button. I'm not sure what it actually is called, but say if this window was, let me just resize this window. If I press the green button, it actually reformats the window to make it the optimum size for the content and also for the size of the screen that you're working on. So that's quite a neat feature, really. Just one other thing about the red button, I mentioned that it doesn't close the application down. That's in probably 99% of all applications. There are some applications where it will actually close the application down, but you can find out just by checking on the black triangle at the bottom of the dock icon. And also, please don't be too worried about having lots of applications loaded in memory. OS X is very memory efficient, so as long as you've got at least 512 meg of RAM, you'll find that it'll cope probably with more applications loaded at any one time than Windows will do normally. So don't worry about too much having applications loaded in memory at any one time. What I wanted to show you as well, we mentioned before that you haven't actually got a start button within Mac OS X, but there is a way to actually create something similar. What you need to do is if you go to Finder, and then if you go to your Applications folder, not the one that's in the lower pane, but the one that's actually off at the top level on your hard disk, if you just click on that and drag and drop it down to the right hand side of the separator bar, it must be the right hand side, not the left hand side, because you'll see the icons don't actually open up for it, but on the right hand side, and then just drop it in, you have what's in effect a new start button. And the way you can use that, let's just close Finder down. You can either right click on it, and what will happen is you'll get a scrolling window of all your applications, so you can scroll up and down, pick whichever application that you want, or you can left click and it will open the Finder, whoops, at your applications folder, and you can just click the application that you want. And I found that to be quite a neat feature when I first started off. So right click, and then you can just scroll up and down, see your applications, and away you go. And the last thing to show you in the dock is the trash can, which is over on the far right hand side. Let's put a few things in the trash to begin with. So let's open Finder up. Two ways to delete things. You can either drag and drop across into the trash can, and you get a nice sound and a full trash can, or you can let's see, right click and move to trash. We'll also do it. Let's put one more in. Okay, so that's let's close that window down. You can see what's in the trash by right click and open, so you can see what's in the trash. You can empty the trash by, again, right click and empty trash, or if you want to actually securely empty the trash, because once you empty the trash, there are some disk utilities that will actually be able to retrieve contents of deleted trash cans. If you actually go to the Finder and select secure empty trash, that will actually permanently delete any files within the trash can itself. And there we go, slightly slower. Yeah, and a nice rustling sound at the end. So that completes the first Switcher edition of Screencasts Online. Please head over to the website www.screencastsonline.com or send me an email or any comments to screencastsonline@gmail.com. As I said before, any future episodes of the Switcher series will be published over on Screencasts Online or available via iTunes from the Screencasts Online desktop or iPod editions. So thanks very much, and I'll see you next time.